let me change topics, kind of. You wrote a great op-ed that we're going to get into when we come back about the Stalinists are here, and you are seeing this everywhere, where you are being shouted down and silenced. You're just talking about the half of Californians that don't have a voice. What happened at Starbucks is remarkable to me, and I'd like to get your opinion on that.
Well, the column is posted on BillO'Reilly.com. We want everybody to read it if possible because it is an important column. On Starbucks, you had a store manager who made a mistake. All right, the mistake was there were a couple of black guys sitting in Philadelphia Starbucks, and they weren't buying anything.
Okay, hang on.
All right.
I want to start back with your premise of this was a mistake on the part of the manager when we come back. So Bill started talking about Starbucks before the break, and he said it was a mistake on the manager to call the police, and I think that was their policy to do that. And Bill, I want to get your opinion on, there is a unspoken social contract. You really see it if you live in New York for any period of time. You'll really begin to understand it because there are millions of people on the streets every day. And the sidewalks are large and they're packed everywhere. And people don't speak English. People may have just gotten off a plane from China. They don't have the same rules. They don't know our culture. And yet the city works. When there's a red light, generally people stop. When there's a red, walking person there, you generally don't cross the street. And it's this unspoken, I'm not going to express myself differently in the middle of the road because I'll get hit by a cab. In today's America, there are no consequences to break the social contract. Somebody walks in, it's not unusual for a business to say the bathrooms are for paying customers. And if you really need to use the bathroom in a place like Starbucks, you say, okay, I'll have a cup of coffee. I'll have a small. Could I just get a $1 worth of that cookie, please? That's the social contract. These people broke it. They sat there. This is a no loitering kind of thing. The police come. The police tell them to leave 3 times, and they tell the police no. These are people with an agenda.
Well, sure. And if you look at what's happened in San Francisco, where nothing is enforced and the whole city is collapsing, and the director of the tourism agency there had to go public and say, we're not going to be able to get anybody to come here anymore because so many homeless people are out of control and nobody's doing anything about it. That's the collapse of the social contract.
Correct.
But I don't know if the manager of a Starbucks in Philadelphia looking at 2 black guys sitting there. Now, the guys weren't doing anything to disturb other customers. They were just taking up space. They obviously were there for other reasons than drinking coffee. Now, they asked them politely if, to buy something or leave. They wouldn't. The police came in, asked them, as you pointed out. They wouldn't leave. They felt entitled to sit there. So then the decision has to be made in America. Do you force them to leave, thereby creating a giant outrage of victimization? Or do you just allow them to do what they're doing because they're not harming your business at that point? So, I feel bad for all the managers that have to make that decision, but if you decide to evict a minority who's not doing anything causing a disturbance, you're going to get it. The press is going to kill you, and the victimization industry is going to kill you, and that's exactly what happened.
This is amazing because this is what has happened to all of us with political correctness. We just said, oh, you know what? Don't say anything. It's just better to move on. Don't say anything about, the bashing of Christians or anything because it's just better to move on. Don't want to make a big deal out of it. And when do we learn our lesson on that?
You can't learn your lesson because the big money is behind the grievance industry. So it's not a level playing field. I don't know whether you follow politics in Europe, but Hungary is making laws against George Soros.
Yes, I know.
Okay. Why? Because Soros is undermining the Hungarian society, doing the same thing he did here, or he's doing here, pumping tens of millions of dollars into organizations like Media Matters that are designed to tear down the fabric, the traditional fabric of America and in Hungary. So the strong-armed leader in Hungary, so we're going to pass a law against Soros, we're going to get him out of here. Now, you couldn't do that here because the media is sympathetic to Soros here, where in Hungary they're not. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So the amount of money that is going into organizations, grievance organizations, tear down America organizations, Stalinist organizations. People think I'm exaggerating. Read the column. I back up every word I say. Bernie Goldberg coined the term Stalinist, by the way, and that's exactly what these people are. If you disagree with them, they're going to destroy you.
So here's the thing, Bill. Are you following the latest attack on the Second Amendment? Which I don't hear anybody talking about this, and this is the way they will take it apart. The Citigroup came out a couple of weeks ago and said they are no longer going to offer any banking services to any company that manufactures or sells firearms with high-capacity magazines, certain kinds of guns, or any gun sale for anyone under 21. So they're cutting off all financial services. A week later, Bank of America comes out and says the same thing. In fact, they're not going to make any loans or offer any banking services to any gun manufacturer at all, period. And then this week, David Hogg comes out with a whole list of people or funds, Wall Street funds, that invest in gun manufacturers. They are going to try to squeeze the gun manufacturers and the gun sales points of sale by choking off all of their banking services and all of their investors.
And I'm sure the 17-year-old David Hogg came up with this on his own.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Right. Sure, that's the attack. The attack is that we'll break the industry. But here's a more accessible attack. And by the way, Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, they threatened him.
That's great.
Because they wanted to bring for him to pull off NRA TV from his streaming service. Cook said no. Cook defied them.
He actually said, this is in your article, and I love this quote, "Democracy without discourse is not a democracy."
Right. Okay, let me give you more accessible than the behind-the-scenes gun financing. Fox News Channel is right on the cliff. And thereafter, they started with me a year ago, and now they thought they had Hannity last year. He fought back. He survived. They got Ingram. Now they're after Hannity again. Okay? And this is the same thing. Attack the sponsors of the Fox News Channel. Make it impossible for the channel to generate income, generate revenue, all right? And it'll go off the air, or they'll water it down, which they already have. It's already getting watered down like crazy, okay? So these techniques, Stalin just shot you in the head, all right? But what Soros and the far left is doing is they're choking you economically. And who's going to do anything about it? Everybody's afraid of them. Everybody is afraid of them, including the judges and the courts. And that's what we have coming. And they'll just knock them down one by one, Beck. One by one, they're going to knock them out.
We had Edwin Black on. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was the author of IBM and the Holocaust years ago. Really well-researched man. And he has been ringing the bell lately for something that he calls algorithmic ghettos. And he says that during World War II, Germany would just put the Jews behind giant walls that nobody could see, and what happened behind those walls in those ghettos, you didn't see. No matter how loud they cried, you couldn't hear them, you couldn't see them, and so out of sight, out of mind. There is no Jewish problem. And he says there is an algorithmic ghetto that is now being used to silence voices like yours, like mine, anybody who stands against Planned Parenthood, et cetera, et cetera. Ted Cruz talked about this with Facebook, and he is very concerned that these voices are going to be, the people who are the tree in the forest that falls, but nobody's around. We can scream, we can shout, we can say everything. We think we're getting the message out, but because of the algorithm, they have put us in a ghetto with walls around us that nobody's hearing the message.
I don't think it's that bad yet.
No, he's saying it's there. Yeah, he's saying that we're on that road. He's not saying we're there yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we still have availabilities, but they're shrinking.
Yeah.
And but the legal system, journalism shot, not coming back ever. All right. The legal system really is concerning me now, because it doesn't seem to be any constraints. Contracts don't matter.
Yeah.
Threats don't matter.
Yeah.
Boycotts don't matter. Just destroy, 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 and there's nobody there to say, hold it. This is not what a free society allows.
What we have to do, Bill, is stop admiring the problems, and I think start teaching the Bill of Rights. Because the Bill of Rights are common sense, and they are the things that have always united us. And the problems with our country all stem from the violation of the Bill of Rights. Everything
or the undermining of the whole concept of the Bill of Rights.
Correct.
George Soros doesn't want the Bill of Rights. The far left doesn't want it. They want totalitarianism. Funny you brought that up. On Saturday night, Beck, I'm going to be in D.C. giving the keynote address for an organization called FLAG, F-L-A-G. This is a brand new organization that is doing exactly what you said, educating younger Americans on what the Bill of Rights says,
Excellent.
What the Constitution says.
Excellent.
And I'm doing it gratis, and people, if you're in the D.C. area or whatever, it's going to be at the Trump Hotel. Go to BillO'Reilly.com. We got the information there. But you're right. We have to start to bring this to the attention of the masses of people. You may have to sing about it on American Idol to get their attention. I may have to write songs back about it.
Boy, you want to talk about destruction of everything we hold dear. That would be it. Bill O'Reilly from Bill